So, Dragon Ball Daima just concluded its 20 episode run, and I really enjoyed it. I think its pacing is a little all over the place, with some repetitive problems like this ship needing to be fixed and causing filler episodes, and a little bit of a rushed finale, but hey, it's Dragon Ball. We're not here for perfect storytelling per se, we're here for the journey, we're here for the adventure, the action, the characters, and the memorable moments in between, and I think the show captured all of that fairly well. I'll start off by saying this: Dragon Ball Daima was more enjoyable to me than like 85% of Super and probably 85% of GT too. As an all around product, I really enjoyed that Toriyama brought the scale of things down to a pretty god level key threat and set it after the Buu saga. And I might be in the minority here, but I really loved seeing Goku and company as children again. I think Daima did the whole making the protagonist children with limited powers trope better than GT. And don't get me wrong, I liked it in GT too, but it went on for way too long in that series. And I think the 19 episode stretch here was more than enough. And I'm a sucker for seeing Super Saiyan on young characters. I like the inclusion of making Super Saiyan 3 relevant again. Seeing Vegeta achieve the form was a highlight of the series for me, and even though he gets a fair amount of screen time to shine, I wasn't at all surprised that Toriyama would give the character one last middle finger by having Goku one-up the transformation in the finale. Speaking of Goku, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Super Saiyan 4 has returned, and it's now maybe, possibly, probably canon to the Dragon Ball continuity. I really like the new design, although I think I prefer the black hair from GT. I love the big gorilla hands and the silver outline, and the Kamehameha in episode 20 might have breached my top 3 in the entire series. I will admit though, I'm a little disappointed by the explanation for the form being just I trained really hard after Buu. I know Dragon Ball hasn't really given us an earned form in years, but I would have appreciated a little more effort in regards to the form's existence. I don't really care that it breaks canon with Dragon Ball Super, mainly because Goku immediately surpasses the need to ever use this form again in Battle of Gods. Plus, Dragon Ball Super could have never accounted for Dragon Ball Daima existing, so I'm not gonna lose hairs over the fact that Goku never mentioned Super Saiyan 4 prior to his existence in canon. Seeing the form again though made me very excited to see it potentially return in the future. I know I said the form is basically useless for Goku and Vegeta past Super, but I think it could really work well for a character like Broly, who at his current stage in the Super manga is only at his first Super Saiyan level, and it already rivals the strength of Super Saiyan Blue if not surpasses it. I think it would be super interesting for a discussion to be had with maybe Whis and Beerus, which, let's say for example Goku training Broly to achieve God Ki could be too dangerous and risky for his short temper, so thus to catch up to Frieza, Goku remembers Super Saiyan 4 and proposes it to Broly. The idea of Super Saiyan 4 would also fit Broly's character, considering his Wrath form draws out the hidden potential from his Saiyan roots already. An easy explanation could be that the Wrath form is just Super Saiyan 4's predecessor, or something akin to Omen being the incomplete Ultra Instinct. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. I just want to get that idea out into the world. Let's talk about Ku and Du. I really like their inclusion in Daima. The retcon for Buu's existence was but the idea of trying to recreate an obedient killing machine and failing twice over was pretty fun. I like how one is essentially dumb and strong like Fat Buu and the other is lean and smart like Super Buu. When first watching, I thought the show was going to go in the direction of having Goma be a false antagonist, so Goku and Ko would fight him as a distraction while Arinzu took control over the demon realm. I thought she'd get her wish and use the fusion bugs on Ku and Du and, get the perfect Majin recreation. Their fusion would make the ultimate physical antagonist, which Goku and the others would have to stand a chance against in some way, and Glorio would probably intervene by stealing Arinzu's wish to make them all adults again. With their adult bodies, they'd get their full power back and beat the bad guy before returning home. The end. What we ended up getting was still good by comparison, although it does bug me, no pun intended, that the fusion bugs didn't do anything after they were set up. It was like a Chekhov's gun moment that just never ended up being used, so ultimately it was like a useless subplot, at least for right now. The ending of the show seems to suggest that it's possible for a season 2, and honestly I wouldn't mind that at all. I know a lot of people would rather see Super continued, and while I would like to see the Moro arc animated, I just personally like these smaller scaled stories a little bit more. I also think Glorio was a super interesting character, and I liked his on-the-fence personality throughout the series, and I especially loved the moment in episode 19 where Glorio decides to use his wish to turn everybody back to adults, and Goku respects him by pronouncing his name right for the first time. That just felt like classic Dragon Ball to me, and I love that stuff more than anything. Glorio and Pansy were a cute dynamic too, although a little bit underdeveloped in my opinion. I did like, however, that she kept faith in Glorio until the very end of the show, and it made for a very cute little emotional moment, I guess. Neva, however, is a complete mystery to me. I thought they were going to reveal him to be this Zeno-type character, one who orchestrated the conflict just for his own entertainment, because he's super powerful, and it certainly seemed that way leading up to the finale. I also liked that he unlocked Goku's potential and made the reason for Super Saiyan 4 being possible as Goku was in his kid body. I'm also glad Vegeta didn't get Super Saiyan 4, and I'm sure Vegeta Glazers will take a problem with that and call me a hater, but the truth is that Vegeta never really deserved it in GT, so why give it to him for free in Daima? Yes, I understand his character arc in GT was about putting his pride aside and accepting the shortcut for the sake of the Earth, but even with a solid explanation like that, it just doesn't feel very in character for Vegeta, and it certainly wouldn't feel right in Daima. I'm happy enough with Super Saiyan 3, although in classic Toriyama fashion, belittling Vegeta's character to essentially only having the form because he wanted to catch up to Goku, and then being too ashamed to admit it, did remind me how as long as Dragon Ball will exist, we'll never get to see Vegeta surpass Goku. My only critiques with the show come down to its pacing, to be honest, and the finale, I guess, being a little rushed, but none of that is new to Dragon Ball. Every finale post-Z is rushed, including my favorite one of the series, which is the end of the Tournament of Power. Every Dragon Ball series has filler, but at least this time this series only had 20 episodes. That alone already makes this show better than GT and Super in my eyes, although that could just be recency bias. But yeah, I guess that's it. Those were my thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima. I hope we see this series continue, regardless of if it breaks continuity or not. I wouldn't be mad if the creators decide to decanon it and keep it its own separate thing, and I wouldn't be bothered if it stays canon with Super. My favorite moment in the series is definitely Goku's Kamehameha in the finale, although Vegeta's first Super Saiyan 3 reveal is a close second, and Ku trying to mimic Goku's Super Saiyan 3 when fighting side by side with him is probably at number 3. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I look forward to talking more about Dragon Ball real soon. See you guys next time. Bye.